Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so about 20 or so minutes ago we got caught out by a pleasant surprise, and Champion Deep Dive posted on Marvel Contest of Champions channel are back, so huge thank you to Dorky Diggity Dave for creating those. But this deep dive in particular was fairly specific and for most part gives us pretty much a full-on idea of Hercules' abilities. Even though they are not posted in their full form anywhere quite yet, and we do not know his prestige, we can pretty much piece together every single thing that he is going to do, and let's get to it. So first thing that I do quite like myself is that he takes 50% less bleed damage and 15% less poison damage, but also makes the recovery reduction from poison 20% less effective. Therefore, that should make him relatively friendly with Liquid Courage and Double Edge Masteries at the bare minimum, and I quite like that. I quite like any champion who has that as its starting premise. Right, then we have these Feats of Strength and how you complete them. You complete them by 3 different mechanics. You need to strike a non-stunned opponent with any hit of a heavy attack. He has 2 hits on a heavy attack, so if you land both of the heavy attack hits on a non-stunned opponent, you get 2 feats of strength. Intercepting a dashing opponent with any attack, and stand up after being knocked down. That one is very annoying, but that's fine. These are also persistent, so each unique feat you complete in a fight gives you 1 persistent charge, and then you start the next fight with like 3 persistent charges already set and ready. Overall, I think it is a fairly shitty persistent charge mechanic, because at best you can start with 3 out of 12, so you'd still have to do majority of the ramp up, and in order to access the 3rd persistent charge you have to get knocked down, and there is just no way around it. You need to eat a heavy or a special attack. So realistically, in a vast majority of like real hard scenarios, you can carry over 2 persistent charges, which is less than 20% of your ramp up. So I don't know. I don't think that whole persistent charge mechanic was even needed at all, but it is what it is. Let's carry on. Completing a feat grants 1 indefinite strength, each increasing armor penetration, which is not too important offensively. It is very annoying defensively though, because all your parry and block damage, well, will be more and more painful. And causing all attacks deal a burst of physical damage equal to 10% of the damage they dealt. So 12 feats of power. Every single hit that you land will deal 120% of the damage. That is quite significant damage increase there though, so that is to keep in mind. And also, for 2 seconds after completing a feat, Hercules gains 1000 attack rating and 50% buff duration. If a special attack is activated during this time, the bonus remains throughout the special attack. There is another ability that we can't quite see in the screenshot, and it is that whilst you have strength active, these feats of strength basically, he is stun immune, and every time you would be stunned, you just remove one of these feats of strength from yourself. So he is going to be quite a handful on defense just by that alone. Pretty much every single place where you fight him, as soon as you knock him down, next parry is gonna get shrugged off pretty much. So it's gonna be fairly finicky, I think, to fight and get used to it. I don't think it's gonna be anything too crazy, but it's definitely something to keep an eye out for, because on defense he's going to be building his feats as and when you keep knocking him down, and then he's going to be able to purify the stuns. Kind of like Hitmonkey, pretty much, just minus their weight. Right, then we have also that Infuriate. We did not get it showed to us in a text form, even though we do get an explanation of Infuriate later when we can take a look at the synergies. But it's basically a similar-ish version to Taunt, which makes opponents' AI more aggressive, not just their special attacks, and also reduces their offensive ability accuracy. The way you activate this is exactly the same way how you, well, very similar way how you gain those charges on OG Black Panther after buff. So after landing first medium or light attack, just dash backwards and it's going to activate. An opponent's going to become more aggressive, so it's going to be easier for you to intercept, and it's going to be easier with that for you to build up your feats of strength. Keep in mind, this ability will expire. I think it lasts 5 seconds, and then it goes on about 10-second cooldown. But it's a neat way how to make AI more cooperative. I do like this addition here for sure. And now we're going to move on to level 1. Level 1 has 2 effects, basically. Level 1 gives you that true sense buff, which lets you ignore evade and auto block, I believe. And second effect would be that you gain precision buffs, which improves your crit rate. Now, both of level 1 and level 2 have additional bonuses if you manage to intercept with them. And those bonuses are that you would gain 3 precision buffs instead of 1. And level 2 is basically the same thing, except with cruelty buffs. I am not the biggest fan of that requirement to intercept with special attacks. When I was playing around with Black Panther, I'm not saying that I did a ton of practice, but as much as I was using Black Panther, it was extremely inconsistent, extremely AI dependent, and extremely annoying. Now, Hercules does have that Infuriate, which might make it easier, but I'm definitely not a big fan of that requirement in order to access full potential of champions' abilities that you have to intercept with special attacks. I don't like that bit at all. We'll see how practical it's going to be. We'll see how realistic it's going to be. But either way, level 1 gives you true sense, gives you precision, and level 2 gives you cruelty. And level 2 also increases the amount of burst damage that you do thanks to your feats of strength for each armor up buff the defenders have. So it's going to be fairly situational because most of the defenders will not have armor up buffs active. Well, tech class majority of them do, hence the innate cosmic class advantage against tech champions. And then on top of it, you get like a 3-second guaranteed stun from level 2. So that's his level 2, and level 3 gives you a 4-second indestructible. And also, if opponent is at 3 bars of power, you gain a fairly potent power gain buff that grants you a bar of power. And obviously, the entire idea is that you drop your level 3, pushing them to level 3, and then hope that they immediately throw it. So you take no damage from their level 3, and you gain a bar of power pretty much from them having thrown the level 3 in the first place, and then you gain even more power thanks to the power gain buff, and you kind of like can play very aggro, I suppose. That is going to be quite interesting to mess about and play around with. And we have the signature ability. Once per fight, when receiving damage that will result in knockout, gain an immortality buff, preventing death and making Hercules unblockable for 9 seconds. This immortality is paused during special attacks or while landing basic attacks and is removed if struck by special 3. And there's an additional ability for 2 seconds after completing a feat, gain 35% increased combat power rate. That I actually like more because that let you spam more special attacks and do everything else. I always like champions with increased combat power rate. But that entire shtick about immortality, I mean, it's just basic cheat death mechanic when you can remain unblockable. There was some mention of this being good for Alliance War, which is quite frankly absolute bullshit. As we know, Immortal Hulk is pretty much de facto unusable in Alliance War. And Hercules will not be unusable, but this ability in itself will definitely be, at the bare minimum, unreliable. Because with Immortal Hulk, Assassin is its biggest enemy. All of significant high-tier Alliance Wars, every opponent has Assassins on. And you can't rely on this immortality ability because it can just not trigger, just like Immortal Hulk's. It can just not trigger. And yeah, so as far as Alliance War is concerned, that part of the signature ability should really kind of be forgotten. There will be obviously situations when it can potentially save you if Assassin doesn't trigger, but it is definitely not something that you should be going in as a game plan to rely on ever. that is pretty much it as far as his abilities are concerned. And he does have some cool synergies. So let's break down the synergies. With Captain America Infinity War, completing a feat of strength inflicts an armor break debuff, removing 1 armor up and reducing armor rating by whooping 100 for 10 seconds. And the thing is, you kind of want opponents to have those armor buffs if you're dropping level 2s, because then you do more burst damage, up to 200% more burst damage. And should you want to sacrifice that for 100 armor break? It is a new piece of utility. I get that. It's just, it's really, really weak. Even at best, even at like when you would get 12 of those or something. I don't know how many of these can you stack during 10 seconds? 5, 4, and best of cases, it's not a lot. It really is not all that much. And 7% Fury potency. Yeah, I'm not even gonna mention that. Whatever. Now, this synergy I do like better though. Hercules start fight with +3 strength. So if you have 3 persistent charges and you have this synergy, then you already start the fight halfway ramped up with 6 charges. So for Hercules, that is quite good. For Hulk, well, he needs a lot more than improved Fury potency, so I'm not going to discuss that. But for Immortal Hulk, while immortality is on cooldown, well-timed blocks gain 100% perfect block chance. I think that is actually really, really cool and super helpful. And if Hercules is any good, then these two champions definitely will pair together quite well, because that, yeah, 100% perfect block chance will increase your parry stand duration significantly, to a point where you're going to be able to drop medium, 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 triple light, medium, thus ramping up significantly quicker. And obviously you will be a lot more safe, whilst immortality is going to be on cooldown for any of the longer, harder matches. So I do like that. And also for Hulk Ragnarok, crowd excitement reaches 100, gain a fury buff by 55%, and inflict weakness debuff, reducing opponent's attack rating by 30%. It's kind of cool. It's actually very, very good synergy, but I think Hulk Ragnarok needs more than that. Hercules and Hawkeye, pawn set free. Infuriate cooldown is reduced by 40%. It's kind of like neat, nothing game breaking. Hawkeye, draining the opponent's power across power bar threshold, grants a fury buff, increasing attack rating by 40% for 20 seconds. It's fairly chunky, but again, Hawkeye is kind of cool, but he's way outdated. He definitely needs some love from Kabam. As a synergy goes, though, it is very potent synergy for sure. You will be able to get like 120% fury, basically. That's quite good. Arm Wrestling Club, Hercules, well-timed blocks gain 100% perfect block chance while at or below 5% max health. So this is kind of cool if you do questing and you rely on that immortality. So you're basically always going to have perfect blocks and also increased parry stand duration. That's very cool. Thor, well-timed blocks gain 20% perfect block chance while the opponent suffering from an armor break debuff. This actually isn't all that great. Yes, you will still be able to do that medium, medium, and then go a new combo. But with Thor, you want to parry as often as possible in order to inflict the armor break. So I don't think that synergy is like all that great or helpful for Thor, to be honest. Thor Jane Foster gain 40% shock potency. Well-timed blocks gain 30% perfect block chance while opponent is shocked. Yeah, sure, Thor Jane Foster. And then we have Hercules with Black Panther on activation special 1 or 2. Gain an unblockable buff for 3 seconds. Nice. And Black Panther dashing back during basic attack combo inflicts non-stacking Infuriate for 5 seconds, making opponent more aggressive and reducing their offensive ability accuracy by 30%. Now, I do think this is super helpful for Black Panther, because Black Panther after buff has not really been destroying content at large or conquering the hearts of summoners. And part of that is the reliance of cooperative AI, and this would increase that. And the synergy he has with himself, and he gives all hero champions, while Hercules is alive, gain 15% attack rating while under effects of poison from Liquid Courage Mastery. So just 15% attack rating for heroes, which is, quite neat. It's not game breaking. We have synergies that increase like attack rating for like 8-9% at this point, with no other extra conditions attached. But not bad. That is about it. So what do I think about Hercules? He does look quite good. He does look quite decent. There are things that I definitely do not like. There are things that I think are a bit of a waste. But overall, obviously, we do need to see a lot more from the champion to have a good gauge of how great or bad he is going to be. I think also his relevance could potentially ride on very high prestige, as the rumors are, but that might not be the case. Who knows? Either way, this is about all that we know about Hercules for now. I hope you guys found this video enjoyable. I will leave a link to the full Marvel Contest of Champions deep dive in the description, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya! Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel.